What's going on YouTube? Got a very special video today. We're going through my collection. Let's do it. Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Today we've got a sort of a longer video today going through my knife collection. In its entirety. We've got three different sort of sections. It's going to be the folding knives, which are in here, some multi-tools, and then the few fixed blades that I have. I'm going to have some like bookmarks in the comments below, or in the description below, so if you don't want to sit through the whole thing, you can kind of skip around and see particular things as you wish. So thanks again for tuning in, and let's jump right in. So, these are my folding knives, definitely the ones that I carry and rely on the most, kind of am most interested in folding knives. So you can see this is like the largest part of my collection compared to the other ones that will come later in the video. A lot of these knives you've probably seen on the channel already. I'm just going to go through them kind of briefly one by one and give a little bit of an overview. And yeah, if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll be sure to address them. But let's just jump right in here. We're going to start, they're roughly organized by size, so I'm just going to start smallest and work my way up. First off, this is the Spyderco Cricket, I believe. I think that's this guy. Really little hawkbill Spyderco. It's actually, I got this guy pretty sharp. He's got a nice edge on him. This guy was in my small knives video because this is the tiniest little knife that I have, and you can just see how beautifully thin that knife is. I don't carry this guy too often, but he is a cool little part of my collection that I do treasure nonetheless. This is the knife that I've had the longest. God, I've had this since probably like elementary, middle school, and I don't really remember where it came from. I'm guessing my dad or brother or someone gave it to me or something, but I've had this guy forever. And before I even knew what Spyderco knives were, I had this knife, and so a couple years ago I actually realized that this is actually a pretty decent knife. So that was a cool realization. Next is the CRK Squid. This is a really cool little guy, another one of these sort of smaller, like fifth pocket knives. Again, don't carry these tiny ones too often, but this one is fun to play around with. It's actually super smooth. You can see it in my CRK knives video. A little heavy, but the weight actually feels kind of nice and satisfying in the hand. So yeah, I really like this guy. The shape is cool. Up next is my only remaining Civivi, the Odium. This guy's in the Jade, which I really like. Cool matching backspacer, D2 blade. Sort of dwindling on my budget knives. I kind of sold a lot of them off in the past couple months as I realized I just wasn't carrying them as much. This guy still does find some pocket time just because it is so comfortable and it's that nice size. The blade cuts really well. It's developing a little, like a couple rough spots. I don't know if you can see it on the camera right there. Being here in the salty air, so I wanted to have it Cerakoted at River's Edge Cutlery, but they haven't gotten back to me yet, so I might reach out again, because that might be something interesting. Up next is the Benchmade Valet. Definitely do carry this guy a lot. This is a nice sort of classy knife that you can see in one of my last videos. M390, nice sleek design, pretty small and unassuming. It's just good all around for smaller tasks, you know, when I don't need anything to be super heavy duty. I've had that knife for a while now. I think coming up on a year and a half. When did I get it? 2019 winter maybe? Yeah, I've had it for a while. That's one of my long-term ones. Spyderco Salt. Bought this one specifically for sailing in the ocean, to have a knife to cut lines on the sailboat or whatever it may be. Something that I would not have to worry whatsoever about rust. So I take this guy kayaking to the beach, whatever it is. I also have a little lanyard that I attach to the lanyard hole here and attach it to my belt loop so that I don't lose the knife on the boat, because I have lost a knife while sailing before and I don't want to ever have that happen again. So this guy fills that very specific purpose. This is the Delica size, and I really do like the handle shape. It fits in the hand really well. So that's that guy. Next, my 3 pair of 3s. So obviously you guys know how much I love the lightweight. Been carrying this guy a lot. This is my 20 CV lightweight. This one gets a lot of attention. Probably one of the most so far this month. I don't know if you've watched my most carried knives for June and July, but this is the top one. It's just really great. And you have already heard my thoughts on this knife, so I'm not going to go too much into it, but pair of 3 lightweight. Newer acquisition, the M390 from DLT. Out for delivery today, actually, is the deep carry clip, so once I get that, I'm going to be starting to carry this guy pretty much exclusively this coming week. Really love the G10, M390, obviously great steel for me. Beautiful QC on this guy. You can check out the video going in it in depth. My pair of 3 in S45VN. This is the sprint run with the Diamond Dark Green G10. I really love the pair of 3 model. It's kind of becoming my favorite Spyderco model. And these 3 are just going to end up finding a ton of pocket time. It's just a really great model. Very comfortable. Great blade. Yeah. This guy I got a year ago when these first dropped. Got this from Knife Center. So I've had this for a good amount of time now. Moving on to the Bugouts. So my 3 Bugouts, you know how big of a fan I am of the Bugout platform as well. This is my custom S30V with satin hardware, red FRN. This guy is just a classic lightweight staple. Very, very smooth. Very thin. Very lightweight. Excellent for shorts, athletic shorts, gym, whatever it is. Great summer knife. And that blade is going to work well too with that S30V. Benchmade does a good job with their S30V. Moving on to my hard use Bugout. You've also seen a video on this one. CPM M4 from Smoky Mountain Knife Works. Bought this one almost solely because I really love that Desert Warrior colorway. But also turns out that the G10 Bugout is an absolute win. I don't carry this guy too often just because I'm very worried about M4 rusting in the ocean air here. Maybe I'm too preoccupied about it, but I don't want to risk it. But I will say, if you have not felt a Bugout in G10, you have to. It's amazing. It's really, really good. And anytime I go anywhere remotely inland where it's a little bit drier, this is the knife that I take. Like, no question, hands down. Because it really is comfortable, very robust. Yeah. Another G10 Bugout is definitely in my future. Don't worry about that. Definitely. Bugout 535-3, the carbon fiber and S90V version. Also got a video on this guy on the channel. Super lightweight. Just the carbon fiber just feels so nice. It feels like none of the other knives I have in my collection. Really love this guy. Benchmade did a great job with this. This is a production model, so they're still available. A little more expensive than the standard Bugout, but it's priced well, in my opinion. So, yeah. Love my Bugouts. Love my pair of 3s. Those are the 2 models that I have a bunch of. This guy was a purchase a while ago, like before I started really getting into collecting knives. Look at how shiny that gold is. It's a little tacky in my opinion now. But I liked the colorway when I first bought it. So I bought this as a sailing knife before I knew what the Salt was or what any good knife was. And I bought this because I liked the colors and it looked cool. And so you can see that this was a little bit of a pre-knife collecting purchase. And I've kept it just sort of for sentimental value. But I don't ever carry this. Tip down only configuration is sort of a killer for me. And the stainless steel handle, it's kind of heavy, but it does look kind of cool. It's like shimmery, but so I still have it. Don't really use this one, but it's in the collection nonetheless. Next, Kitefin. This is the Blue Circle TI model. Love this guy. S35VN blade. You can see there's some tape residue because I was using it the other day. I got to clean that off. Really great snappy action. Also a video on this on the channel. You're going to notice a trend that I've reviewed most of the knives that I own. So A lot of these have been appearing on the channel. Yeah, we did an excellent job with that one. This is a relatively newer acquisition of mine too. I do carry that one a lot. One of my absolute classic staples now is the 940, and this is another one that I've had for over a year. Definitely put its paces in. You can see my long-term review for my full thoughts and stuff, but this is a great knife. It's an absolute classic, and I could probably never, ever get rid of this. This is one of those things that's just going to be around forever. I mean, most of these are. This is, I forgot to say this at the beginning of this, but I waited a while to do this video because I wanted to have a somewhat stable, you know, things have come and gone quite a bit in the past, you know, couple months, past year, and this, I feel like all of these knives are pretty much for sure like sticking with me, and I'm not really going to be adding anything too soon. Who knows, maybe when Blade Show comes around I'll be adding something, but for the most part I'm pretty much secure with this. So this video will be accurate for a while until I have to do an update. But anyways, this 940, great knife. Definitely one of my all-time favorites. I don't carry it super often, especially now that I've got some of these newer ones like the Sebenza and the new Para 3, but it definitely comes up from time to time, and when it does, it's just an absolute joy. It's like coming back home to a cozy meal that also is super useful and hardworking. That didn't make any sense. Anyways, yeah, this is a great knife. Any of you that have used this knife before will probably agree. It's just a classic. Also the Ultratech. So this is my one and only OTF automatic. My brother gave this to me for Christmas. He also really likes Microtech. Oh, look at that. It misfired right on camera. I take this guy when I go back to Wisconsin to my cabin, and I can carry it and use it because they have really good laws there. I'm not going to launch into a discussion on that, but in short, this thing is awesome, and I just keep it around the house because it's I don't carry it where I'm currently from here, but it is a really fun knife. The color's great, the blade is great, Microtech is just phenomenal. I would love one day to see these become legal across the board. We'll see. You never know. But yeah, there it is. Moving on to the bigger knives, I've got my PM2. I had two, but I recently sold the Crewwear one to fund the Sebenza up there, and I wasn't really carrying the Crewwear too much. I really love this S45 VN stainless version. This guy does find its way into my pocket quite a bit for the larger side carry when I do want that. And yeah, I mean, the PM2 is popular for a reason. That's all I'm going to say. If you know, you know. Okay. Other Spyderco, last Spyderco here. The Teal Endura. This is another one that I've had now for over a year. That has not left the collection because I love it too much. The largest knife that I own, I think we're looking at a 3.75 inch blade. You can just see that handle kind of sticks out, but it's comfortable. It's really comfortable, and whenever I feel like I need a longer knife, this is the one I go for. And it's still sleek. It's not bulky. The action's pretty good. It's flickable despite having that back lock. Love that color. Yeah. Also a full review of this guy on the channel. Let's do this guy next. The WE 604. This guy was a really exciting acquisition for me because I had wanted it for quite some time, and I got it for an absolute steal of a deal. So this guy's not going anywhere. The Dragon Scales, super cool. Still probably one of my favorite titanium patterns. This one's probably close to that, but this is just really unique, and they did an excellent job machining this guy. And it's comfortable. It's pretty thick blade, but it's useful enough, and it's surprisingly not horrible to carry, despite kind of the thickness and the milled clip. It's pretty good, and this actually does find its way into my pocket a good amount as well. So yeah, really, WE does a great job. I don't have too many, just the two, but I like that company quite a bit. And then lastly, the if I could get it open, great. Still working on getting that exact technique. The ever beautiful Sebenza 31 large micarta inlay. This is, I mean, I just got this, so I'm a little biased, but this is my favorite knife. I mean, this thing, if I could ever figure out how to open it, this thing is incredible. every day I start to like love it a little bit more even, and it was definitely worth the hype, and I'm really happy to have this, you know, one of these guys in my collection now. The crown blade, I mean, I'm not going to go into everything. I could sit here and talk about it for another 10 minutes, but there is a video already of me doing that on the channel, so check it out if you haven't already. But this fills a very certain like high quality production niche in my collection, and I like the bigger size. So that kind of fills into my, you know, four larger size knives. Cool micarta clip. But yeah, that's the folding knife collection. If you have any questions, like I said, leave them in the comments. If you want me to do a specific video on one of these that I haven't already, or go over something again, like seriously let me know and I'd be happy to do it. These are my bread and butter for my EDC. I don't really go anywhere with these except for on the airplane, obviously. But I feel naked leaving the house without a pocket knife in my pocket, and that is the folding knife for me. So I don't know, I love it, and I'll do a video eventually on my EDC motivations. But for now, they're just so fun, and I'm very happy with where my collection's at right now. It doesn't necessarily need to be bigger or smaller, so I rotate through these a good amount. So I'm gonna stop this section. And we're going to move on to the multi-tool section of the video. So, all right, multi-tools. This one's going to be a little quicker. Two subpopulations here. Ones that I do carry on a regular basis and ones that I do not. And I'm going to explain both. So let's start with the do nots. So here we go. I've got my Leatherman Wingman. This guy I don't carry on me ever because it's pretty bulky and I don't necessarily need it when I'm out on the road, whatever. But I do use it a lot at home, and I use it a lot at my apartment, especially in college, for those, you know, little tasks here and there that I like to attempt to do on my own. And this usually helped me in a lot of cases. A lot of really good tools on here. Relatively inexpensive as far as Leathermans go. This is just a good like starting point. You know, nice blade, although that's probably the least useful thing on here for me. But yeah, honestly the best thing is the pliers, and that's what I use the most. So that's what I like these guys best for. Always good to have these around. Wouldn't hurt to have one of these in the car as well. And next up is my Swiss Trekker, I believe this one's called. This is the largest Swiss Army knife that I have. Nice big robust blade, locking blade. What else do we have on here? We've got a oh yeah, there it is. We've got a saw blade on here, which is pretty cool. Again, I also don't carry this because it is a little big and bulky for my everyday taste. Also screwdriver. But I do take this, like if I go on a backpacking trip or whatever, I'll throw this in the bag. Because it is good to have. It's a good outdoor tool, but just not in my pocket. And that also goes the same for this guy, which... I don't remember the name. You're gonna have to forgive me on that one. But this is actually the first Swiss Army knife that I ever bought. This is probably the first knife I ever bought. I got this when I was in Switzerland. Gosh, back in like 2009. So I've had this guy for a long time. Got this actually at the Victorinox store in Zurich, Switzerland. So this is a special one for me. Also don't carry this because it is a little thick. You can see it as a 4-layer. But it is super useful, and I've used the screwdriver quite a bit. This is another one that I'll throw in the backpack or the bag if I'm going out hiking, just because it's got a lot of tools on it. It's good to have. But yeah, these don't really find their way into my EDC rotation. These guys, however, so I bought the Pioneer, the 2020 version, and this does make its way into my pocket. As you can see, it's much thinner, it fits within the layers of this guy. Much thinner, being a 2-layer, and it still has some pretty useful tools. Obviously the blade. I really like the reamer on this guy. I've used this quite a bit for like poking holes or like scraping stuff. It's pretty strong, robust. Also used the screwdriver as kind of a pry bar. This got a little bit of a smaller screwdriver, can opener. So this is actually really useful, and I love the A-Lock scales. So I do carry this one probably the most out of any of my other Swiss Army knives. And I use this little clip to fasten it to the top of my pocket so it doesn't fall all the way down. So it kind of hangs in my pocket straight down. So it actually works pretty well. These two are my two classics. This little red guy I've had for quite some time. And now more recently, I got the goat from Smoky Mountain Knife Works. I just thought this was too hilarious not to get. Little tidbit about me is I love goats. I think they're just hilarious, and I would love to have some someday. So this was like, okay, a must-have. And it's actually pretty useful. I've been carrying this guy a lot too. You can see I have the same S-clip method. And this one carries even easier than the Pioneer because it's so darn light. I don't even feel it there. But, you know, nail file, little mini screwdriver. This is actually a pretty useful tool. Tiny little baby blade. Not as useful because I always have another knife on me. And then the little scissors, which are actually quite sharp. In addition to tweezers and toothpick. Yeah, there's a lot packed into this little guy. The classic is a classic for a reason. There you go. So those are the multi-tools. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Let's move on to the fixed blades. So I keep these guys in this little case because I don't really carry them too often, unless I'm going to go out for a hike or whatever. But for the most part, I'm sticking with my folder, and that's perfect. But I have a few. Once upon a time, my fixed blade collection was a lot bigger because I kind of went through a phase, but then I ended up selling off most of them because I wasn't really using them, and I wanted to fund folder purchases. Someday, I'll probably actually get like a nice fixed blade, you know, like a SBK or a Pterodactyl. They're making amazing stuff. Alex Steingraber makes amazing stuff. I would love to get a Shark someday. Who knows? Let's just get into this and wrap up this long video here. Congrats to you if you've stuck around this long. I appreciate it. Okay, couple fixed blades. So this guy is actually interesting. So my buddy in high school like made a little homemade forge, and he actually made this for me as a birthday present. And I wasn't even like super into knives like I am now. I was always into it, you know, a fair amount, but he knew enough. And this thing is actually super cool just because it's kind of homemade, like super rustic feel. I have no, it's probably just made of some kind of scrap steel. Wouldn't it be hilarious if I found out someday that this was like crewware or something that he somehow got? But it's actually pretty comfortable, and it's kind of a sweet, like scimitar-ish blade. I tried sharpening it. It's not going to cut much. Maybe that, yeah, it's, you know, like, it's a knife, you know, definitely, but it's not like razor sharp. But it's kind of cool, so I've kept it around. Next is this little tiny fixed blade that my dad gave me. This is actually one of the this is a case knives fixed blade. This is one of the first knives that he actually ever owned, and he bought one for himself and one for his grandfather, I believe. And so he just gave me this last year. Really cool. It's like a very, very thin little blade, but it's actually kind of a little comfortable handle. It's just one of these really classic case knives from probably the 70s or 80s maybe. But yeah, I love having this guy. Very cool. Just classic. These are my two CRKT fixed blades. I actually really like this minimalist quite a bit. When I was in Wisconsin and Minnesota, I'd actually carry this on me. A scout carry. Very comfortable, and actually it's a very useful little secondary blade. Just very stubby, and you know, it's not any good steel, but it works well enough, and it's easy to sharpen, so I can kind of abuse it. But yeah, I really like how small and dainty this thing. Well, not dainty. No, that's not right. Just small and compact, and it's actually really comfortable with these little finger grooves. So this is a cool one. If you haven't checked it out, do so. Again, nothing special on the blade, but... And then same with this guy. This was a total impulse buy because it was super cheap. Cost me like 20 bucks, and it's kind of a beater fixed blade, and I've taken it hiking, whatever. Works fine. 8CR13 steel, nothing special whatsoever. In fact, I probably kind of won't buy ever steels like this again, just because I've gotten spoiled with, you know, some nicer things. But they definitely serve their purpose, and you know, for the price, it's great. Not gonna knock on budget knives whatsoever, because they definitely have a purpose. And it's, you know, it's pretty comfortable. It's pretty light. It works. I can also scout carry this guy with this Tech Lock, or, you know, on a backpack strap, wearing it like this. You can pull it down, you know, when you're hiking, whatever. That's what I've done. But yeah, so those are the fixed blades. Again, nothing too special in this collection. Like I said, most of my effort and time and actual use has gone into my folding knives. But yeah, you know, that's the full collection. I promised a full collection video, so I had to include all these guys as well. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this was interesting. I'm going to be carrying these two guys pretty much exclusively this next week once I get my deep carry clip for this guy. So pretty excited to have these new ones to the collection. Yeah, that's it. Thanks again for all the support recently. It really means a lot. I'm glad you guys are out there enjoying the content. Trying to get more videos out. It's not always easy with work and other things to balance the time, but you know, it's very fun. I enjoy doing this. So thanks for watching and liking and commenting and whatnot. So that's it. I'm gonna wrap this up, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Again, thanks so much, and take care.